Even though the ink is barely dry on the announcement of the most recent Social Security cost of living increase, there are already signs pointing towards 2023 as being another year for a big increase to Social Security benefits. In today's video, I want to cover why 2023 could be setting up as the largest increase on record. But before we jump into that, I think it's time for us to start thinking about the possibility of inflation being the next big threat to the longevity of the Social Security trust funds. I do plan to start talking about this soon here on this channel, and if you're new and you're concerned about the future of Social Security, I want you to subscribe and click that notifications bell so you won't miss these videos that we're releasing in the days ahead. You know, the signs of inflation are all around us. If you shop for anything lately, you've been able to experience this for yourself. When you look at the year-over-year changes in the Consumer Price Index, that's the official measurement of inflation, prices have increased 5.4%. But once you dive into the detailed breakdown, there are some categories that have experienced massive increases. Bread is up 7.1%. Steak is up 22.1%. I went to the store the other day for some steak, and I came home with chicken. There was no way I was paying those prices. Bacon is up 19.3%. Gasoline up 42.1%. Furniture and bedding 11.2%. Laundry appliances 19.1%. Used vehicles up 24.4%. And car rentals are up 42.9%. People are literally renting U-Hauls to get around on their vacations because they can't find a rental car, and when they do, they're too expensive. Televisions are up 12.7%. Hotel stays are up 19.8%. And those are just some of the large items that most Americans shop for and buy every day. And that's the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics report on CPI, which some have said isn't very accurate and underreports inflation. And none of that is saying anything about housing prices, how they've increased from new home sales to existing home sales, and the near certain increase that's coming to rents. But despite all of these massive increases, there are still some who say inflation is just getting started. There's even some who have started using the word hyperinflation. But only time will tell if inflation is out of control or if this is just temporary. But in either case, it does appear that we can expect these higher prices to carry into 2022. In a recent interview, Treasury Secretary Yellen said, on a 12-month basis, the inflation rate will remain high into next year because of what's already happened. But I expect improvement by the middle to end of next year, second half of next year. In separate comments, the chairman of the Federal Reserve said, inflation has increased notably and will likely remain elevated in coming months before moderating. So it appears that even if this is temporary, best case is that it will spill over into 2022. Now, this doesn't mean that Social Security benefits are going to increase, because keep in mind, the cost of living adjustment is based on the average increase as measured in the third quarter. So that's July, August, and September. So if inflation remains high for the first half of the year and then starts to decline, we could run into a situation where inflation for the year on average is up, but because it drops in the third quarter, the only place where inflation numbers count for Social Security, there would be no cost of living adjustment. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. Personally, I think that the high inflation numbers are here for a while. I'm not an economist, and when it comes to breaking down economic data, I just don't understand it enough to simplify it the same way that I do Social Security. But I do know the economy just isn't equipped to deal with what's happened in the past 2 years. If you look at the increase in the money supply, the sharp increase in 2020 is immediately obvious. As the government poured billions of dollars into the bank accounts of Americans, they started buying stuff. And now the demand has reached levels where our shipping infrastructure just can't deal with it. Just look at the containergeddon that's going on right now, where there are over 100 ships just waiting to unload their cargo. It's so bad in Long Beach that they're out of places to anchor these ships. We're seeing companies like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Costco, Dollar Tree, they're all chartering their own ships at massively increased prices so they can get merchandise on the shelves in time for Christmas. Now listen, these increased shipping costs are going to show up in price tags. So I suspect that this time next year, inflation is still going to be a problem, and it could be much higher than what it is today. If so, that means that the 5.9% increase to benefits that becomes effective in 2022 could pale in comparison to what's coming the following year. Now, this is obvious, but keep in mind that if Social Security benefits increase, that means that prices are going up as well. So the net impact is supposed to be a neutral event. But whatever happens, I'll be right here keeping you informed. Thanks for watching.